Hello everyone, Labas, Oля, Привет, Здравствуйте, Bonjour. Welcome to Crazy StitchMaynia. My name is Jurgita and welcome to my house, my craft room, idea room, my work room. And so let's start with StitchMaynia. Today is May 1st, so I'm really trying to get this all done and so we can start all my stitching. I have been doing StitchMaynia, what's it, third, fourth year? I know it started in 2016, so I might have started then with the first group, first wave, or I started the next year. Anyway, I don't remember. So the way I was doing is usually I take about 15 projects. Some of them are new, some previous whips. So let's go over it, okay? What I looked at, I have a little list here, is I have 5 projects left from last year's Maynia that are unfinished. Well, I started even before that, but I try to work the same whips if they're not finished during current StitchMaynia time, and then in the slots I put in the new ones if I already had something finished. And also I'm trying my laptop's camera, so we'll see how the clarity is versus my cell phone video recording that I've been doing previously. And I don't know if I'll do on a specific day specific projects. It's especially with the new ones, whatever calls to me the most that day, I think I'll pick her up. So my plan is to do about 2 days for each of them. So that would make about 15 projects total. So it would be 10 new and 5 previous ones. Plus I need to work on some of the like styles and challenge pieces that are not Maynia parts. So I'll have to kind of squeeze it in hour here, hour there. And let's get started. So I'll show you first the previous whips leftovers from before. And my oldest Maynia part would be Heaven and Earth design, because you know when you have like 4 or 5 giant babs, you can't finish in 1 year, right? And it's called What's This? And I sometimes if I have a picture, I'll squeeze it in, put it in versus like showing like this. And there's a little lion and he's looking up, and the colors here are not exactly what is being going to be shown in the stitches, because let me get this. I have like full table stuff things to show you, and that's where I am right now. So I'm doing this also on sparkly fabric, 28 count over 1, and I can't remember if I'm doing, I think it's like half cross, so don't want to blare, it's all natural light, so you can see more like purplish colors here and the snow speckled. So compared to picture, I am just like before his nose starts. That's where I ended. So I think his nose is gonna be like somewhere here. So this is for my eldest child. He picked this when I suggested something for him to pick, and I don't know what will be finished. Maybe when he graduates college, since he's about to hopefully to start the college this upcoming year. So that's What's This? And for my Maynia times, I had it started on May 5th 2017. So it's 2 years it's been, so not a lot done. And there's some Kreinik in here, and so Kreinik stitching on the white sparkly fabric is not the best probably to choose, but don't know why I wanted to try on sparkly fabric, so that's what it is. I kept it in the frame loose until I need to work on it, and then I'll tighten it. But that's what I am to start. Probably not going to be able to do a lot. It's 350 by 263, the size supposed to be count. So that's my first of the whips. Then according to my calculations, I have Stitcher's Alphabet, and that's a free pattern by Brooke. And if I have a picture, I'll put it in for you. And so far I've done only 3 letters, so I'm doing this. I've done A, B, and C, and I calculated how I wanted that to be done. I don't know if I can pause this video or not, so I'm going by this. And I had it all written down in my my yearly little notebook, monthly things. So the Stitcher's Alphabet, that first year I had, I think, only letter A done. So I've done in the past year 2 more, and I started that on May 14th last year. So it's not a lot, and I'm doing over 2, I think it's 28 count. So that's the size of the fabric it's gonna be. So I think I'm doing like 3 and then 5, 5, 5 at the bottom, also gonna be 3, if memory serves right. Anyway, there's beading, there's cryonic involved, there's all kinds of different stitches. As you can see, if you've never done it before, it's fun to do. I would suggest. She has all kinds of amazing things, and it's just not enough time to stitch. But like you can see here, it was you take all 6 strands of thread to make this ball of like a yarn, because it's a crochet thread, and beading and shininess like that. So that's Stitcher's Alphabet by Brooke's Books. That was my second one. Then I had left, it's a Beer Dragon. I bought a pattern from Russian designer, and let's see, where do I have it on the list? It's Nadezhda Kazarina. I had it about a third done. I haven't done a lot more, and I started it on May 17, 2018, and that's what it's supposed to look like about. Lots of back stitching and different counts of threads to do. Lots of blends, and that's what I have so far. I don't know. So I've done I'm doing back stitching as I go, because as you can see inside the beer what do you call, glass, it's little dragons like feet and paws and all kinds of little things. And the wing is gonna have just a little bit more. Some are like couple of stitches for backstitch done, some with the 1 strand. So there's gonna be lots of here of him. But I think on a black fabric, it really standing out. So he's fun to stitch, and I have, I think, like 3 more little dragons. There's a coffee, there's a tea, there's a couple more alcohol little dragons. So this is my first in the series, so I'm excited to continue with this one. I missed it, and if you know me, if you've seen previously any of my patterns that were talking about it, I'm born in a dragon year, so I love dragons, so what can I say? All right, so then it would be next in line, like summer ball, and I call it like a gathering, and that one is started in 2017, May 19th, and I've done. I was stuck for a while with it because when I downloaded the file, it was on my old computer and that crashed, so I couldn't find the file again. And with the backstitching, there's quite a bit of backstitching in it, and I was stuck without the backstitching. So then I finally found it, and this was from Russian magazine. So the picture doesn't do it justice, of course, because I had to print her out of the computer, but that's a whole scene. And she has what's her name? S.Littlejohn. She has different sceneries that are similar length with different eras, and she had it published in several, I think it's English magazines. Is that Cross Stitch Gold or something like that? And this was in the Cross Stitch collection of August 2006. So if you have that magazine, you would find this pattern, and I like that era. This really reminds me of Pride and Prejudice. So one of last year's reading and stitching group was doing Pride and Prejudice, I was all into it. We're reading books. So that's the one. And I'm doing skin 1/1, so it's looks a bit different with the shading. So until you put the back stitching, it really looks weird. And I'm doing that over 2. And so this is what I have done so far. So as you can see, I've stitched and back stitched all of that, so I'm done with the third of it. So the skin, those faces look like a blobs of something until you put in the back stitching, and then it really pops out. But I like how it looks, the skin. And I always show this little piece that makes me laugh. This little candle holder, to me it looked like a ghost robot. But just the whole pattern is amazing. Like for example, like here, those are 2 portraits, so you can tell that this is the lady portrait, and this one is just a couple of stitches, and you can tell that it's 2 people like sitting, like their heads shining and stuff. So it's amazing, and it's full coverage, and that's how much it's gonna be to do. So you can see how much I left. I think it's about 3 inches, so that's what's gonna be about 3 inches off. So yeah, I'm about third done by my calculations. So I have a specific place for it already planned out for my like a piano room, what I call it, music room. I think it's appropriate, and so yeah, I love it. The only thing I'm doing different is like a black 310. I'm using 3 threads versus 2 because I wasn't happy how it's turning out. A little bit kind of see-through, so I'm using 3. But all other colors seem like it's working. So you can kind of see this guy. It's amazing. Can you imagine right now going in a dancing when you're an elderly person and mingling with the youth? Yeah. So I know Littlejohn's designer has a garden party that is kind of cute, and there was one more, I think, from that grouping. So that was summer ball, or I call it manor gathering. I don't know why. And the last one I have from previous whips. It's I bought it on Etsy, I think. It's called Gardens of Semirami, and I'll put in a picture because what's printed is not gonna be doing just this. And what do I have here? It's by Modern Twist Embroidery, and that one is the canvas work, so it's not the cross stitching. And I started that May 31st, 2018. So I had just a little bit start. I keep it on the frame, and I'll show you just how little I've done. Ta-da! This is satin stitch. You see how much it shines. So it took me a while to figure out how to tie it behind, because you could see, you know, it's see-through canvas, 18 count, just like it was suggested. But I'm eager to continue this. I'm trying to remember if it's top or bottom. I think I marked it somewhere on the frame. But that's all I've done from the whole thing. And like I said, it was interesting to stitch because it's such a big holes. So it was something new. So yeah, that's it. That's all from my previous stitches. Whips left over. Now let's get on with the new ones, shall we? So we don't stretch this video too much. So as I said, I have 10 new ones to start, and it was very hard to pick from the ones that I showed, I think in like for beginning of a new year, what I want to start this year new. So it was very hard to pick which ones I want to do in Maynia and which ones I want to spread out throughout the year. But I'm hoping to stick with this group for now. So I finished my dimensions stocking that I'll be showing separate video on that. And my plan always kind of, I love dimensions and it's like that. So I have a dimensions, mirabilia. I think that's always gonna be some kind of project happening, and there's something else that I probably gonna have, like maybe ornaments of some type. So this kit is been out of print for a while, and I've been hunting for it, and I found it on eBay, and I want it for a reasonable price, surprisingly. And it's called Milady Chateau, and you can see yourself. So this was actually American version, because later kits were done put together in China, so they had it all sorted out, all threads. But when you see bundle like this, if you've never known, then it's American brand so to speak, made in the USA. And my suggestion would be, if you never stitched dimensions kit before, try to wash it, especially very dark colors like red, because there is a tendency to have that color bleed, and I would not recommend just stitching and then washing your project and then seeing that to bleed. I would not want for you to happen. There is no big bright red colors here, but just in case, I'll be rinsing all the threads, and some parts is gonna be stitched like a sky. I think it's gonna be plain, and this has like off-white Ada color. Let's see, it says kit is 18 by 12 frame size without mat. It's 14 count Ada fabric, and the threads are dimensions. It's not DMC, it's not anchor. They have their own threads that not always easy to match with the DMC. So yeah, so that's a bundle. I'm gonna have to work, and I don't know if I'm gonna use the same 14 count fabric, or I'll just grab some 28 count, not sure. But I'm very excited to start. I've been waiting to start this for a while, ever since I got it, and very eager. I love the scenery. It kind of extends the whole view of what I have with Pride and Prejudice thing happening, like with that summer ball gathering. So that would be my first of the chosen ones. Then what I might start actually today is something smaller because it's May 1st and I want to upload this video. I still need to do my April video, and yeah, so that's lots of things to do. I want to go to a lecture tonight about the music and math because it's connected. Anyway, this is by Hands-On Design, Kathy, and it's called Stitching by the Sea. I was born by the sea and I love the sea, although I can't swim very well. I don't like the darkness of the depth, but I love the sound of it, and it always draws me. So I don't remember if I got suggested fabric. It was suggested to stitch in 30 count thin roof weeks dye works fabric, and I picked, what did I pick? I had it all cut up for me. Sorry for the noise. If I could, I would pause it. I picked 32 count beach walk fabric, which was kind of similar. It has like a greenery, so I already have it pre-cut and searched for me. So it's a little bit greener than what's showing, like browner. So it's a little bit different of what you're seeing it. And it requires different weeks dye works and gentle art threads, but I think I have also the pins, can't remember. Anyway, so this is gonna be one of my projects. A little basket is separate than from a cube, and it's gonna be fun to stitch. So that was second choice for this year's Maynia. Then I want to do more ornaments. I mentioned before that I want to do ornaments each year for my kids to kind of remember me by when I'm gone. Hopefully they'll keep it. And these were I got from a China Amishop store. Original it was dimensions, but it was long, out of print, and if you can find online it's for like way over $100 for it. But it's a kit with like a 6 different they're kind of bigger size ornaments, and it has like golden threads coming through it, and it's gonna be poofier ones. So I want to try. I never tried their version. I've heard that they did pretty good job on that. They have everything here packed with the floss and the stuffing, as you can see. Everything else is kind of hiding, but you can kind of see the colors of the threads. So don't know how many I would do. I would start at least with the one. Don't know which one. If you want to see one of them, for me to start first, comment below which one you prefer to see first. So like top left 1 2 3 or bottom 1 2 3, and I might try that. I'm not starting it tomorrow, but so you have a little time for that. It's exciting. There's a scenery inside, and so we'll see. I haven't opened even yet. It's supposed to be like a 3D ornament, so that's gonna be interesting to see, and I hope you'll follow with me on that journey. I'm getting stuffy nose. The weather has been crazy in the past several days, and you never know in St. Louis, Missouri area what kind of weather is gonna be. So I live in the Illinois side, but I still consider this greater St. Louis area. Then I picked Just Nance 8 tiny reindeer cube. That would be my first of little biddies from Jasnan. I started collecting all those little things of hers, and I know there are a lot of stuff that's very hard to find, like stockings or the pins that she has, but maybe over time I'll find some of them. So anyway, this what comes as. So this is gonna be just a cube. I think I have a mouse, Santa mouse, separately, and it includes, the pattern includes beads and whatever else you would need for that pattern. And so you can kind of see a couple sides of that. And the fabric I picked, I went by the color of the picture. I kind of liked how it looked in the picture, because a lot of times, you know, the picture is like brightened up and it's not the same fabric when you pull her out in reality than it is in a picture. So I picked it. This is a 32 count lakeside blue, and apparently this piece should be enough to do the whole cube all around. So it's gonna be fun. It feels very soft, and it's, you know, linen, so it's gonna be natural looking. So it has I have all the threads, everything of course ready, and it's gonna involve some kainik too besides beading. So that's Jasnan again, this guy. Then I chose something different. I had from Maxim plastic canvas set. I thought something different. I also, if you don't know, love like supernatural stuff, especially Dracula. So I had this tissue box. This is canvas kit. I thought that was something different. You know, tissues coming out, like his Dracula is always portrayed with this poofy, fluffy shirts. So he's kind of, you know, the head sticking out, and I haven't taken out. Sorry. Once I start showing what I've done, I'll pull out of kit. So the kit comes with this yarn, and it has a 7 count mesh plastic canvas. So it has the trims and all kinds of stuff. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm sure I'm not gonna probably finish by this Halloween, but perhaps by next one I'll have it all done. So this is something different. Again, I think that just doing plain stitching over and over might be a little boring, especially if you know that I'm doing lots of babs. So I really need something smaller, something different to break down the big full coverages. Then another one, different one. I got this at Needlework Galleria. Was it last year or year before? It's by Julie from J Designs. This is heart sampler, scissors, spool, and fob. So the whole kit. So it came like this in the baggie with the tied with the ribbon. So you have it's just some stitching for spool and little mini fob. So everything is included, including this giant spool. It has what count is it? 8 count thread, and there's some regular things like included in the fabric for the stitching. Of course, you can change the color if you wanted something like this. It doesn't have to be exactly, you know, this red DMC. I don't know. I might do like this, or I might do variegated thread. I haven't decided yet fully, but I thought it's something different, something to put down besides, you know, hanging on a wall project. So yeah, it has a little ribbon and everything inside. So that's something different again. not typical, just a picture hanging. Then I have one more different project. It came from Russia. It's Riolis kit, and box got a little bit smushed during the transportation, which is usually it doesn't happen. And this is part of Riolis called Satvori Sama, do it yourself. And this is as a whole kit, and I have this egg to do. So what will need to be done is stitch the middle part like a band, and then will be beads that you collect and gather up top and bottom, and do the whole thing like that. And this is the whole collection. The egg is a wooden one, and it says finished size without extra elements is 2.5 by 2 inches, so it's a small. Just to show you, it's see, it's just a regular egg. It has a little flattened bottom, so it can just stand by itself. It's wooden, and give you a peek. There's the fabric, there's instructions, all the thread, everything seems to be in there, and there's beads. So at least one package. There might be another one, not sure, because it has to have a green color, so it might be separate. So I might try to do separate video on this project. Seems like they have English instructions on that too. At least it's written in English in some parts. So if you want to do something like this, you should have no problem doing it. So that's the Riolis Easter egg. Something different, and of course I'm not gonna finish. Easter is over for this year, but maybe by next year I'll have it done, because it's a small project, and I might be even able to stitch it in the car, like a car project. Then I have a Luca-S kit, and they're made in Moldova, and this one is called Etude with strawberries, and it's in different languages written, so should have no problem. Majority of them come, I think, in a 14 count fabric, but I've stitched something before and I substituted fabric. But this is this long, they have a long patterns, like a whole grouping of them. There's strawberries, there's all kinds of different fruit. There is some with the mushrooms. If you love mushrooms, they have with the mushrooms sitting. And this is a whole kit with the anchor threads, because Luca-S usually uses anchor threads. So it's all marked with the symbol. I know some of the newest ones, Anchor started doing slightly different how they put the threads on, but yeah, this was the older one. It's from 2009 pattern, so I have several more to do, and that would be like a grouping of fruit in a kitchen. So that's Luca-S. Then we're getting there, people. Then I have another different one, and again I had to send over from overseas to US, and it's by PANNA, and it's a pillow. They have like their collection of pillows literally like exploded. They have cats, they have owls, they have like a kitchen, like a fruit basket thing. So all kinds of things. They have cute little bears, and it's on the big count fabric, and they have instructions in all kinds of languages. So even if you can't understand English fully, in reading they have Italian, they have French, there's English, there's German, Estonian, I believe. So it's a hard level. They say, you know, they put the stars by snowflakes to show the level. But like I mentioned, I love dragons, so this is gonna be mine. Although I'm supposed to be like a fire dragon, but I love turquoise colors, and this is very close to that. And I can't wait to decorate my room with this little guy. He is very cute. I keep staring at it, and we'll see how it goes, right? This fabric is not Aida, it's a Gamma fabric, so it's locally made. I've heard that's not that bad. They also have Gamma threads, but I mean, look at the thread colors, right? Isn't it gorgeous? So you can, you know, stitch peacocks with those colors, right, Minnie? Yeah. So there's just a little bit like a golden ones included, but this is gonna be a nice size. I don't know if they tell it the size of it. Usually they do. Yes, finished size is gonna be 15¼ by 17¼ inches. So that's a good size, right? So that's my little dragon. And the last one, but not the least, from my new start that I'm hoping to do this month. Again, I bought a pattern. It's by, don't remember the first name, Yevgenia maybe, Seriogina. So this is Christmas wreath. So approximately that's how it's supposed to look. And of course, it's gonna be lots of blends, because those designers, if you ever bought Russian designers or Ukrainian designers patterns, you know they do a lot of blends. So for example, I can show you the thread list. So yep, those are all blends on the bottom. But what I like that they usually give you patterns that separate sheets are just the stitches, and then different sheets of pattern is with the back stitches. So you can, you know exactly that you're not missing any threads, because I know some patterns would have just with the back stitching all done in one, and then you try and figure out under this thick line of the back stitching what little cross stitch you have or half stitch you have to do underneath. But majority of them, these patterns that they come, it's separate. So this design is 197 by 225 stitches, so it's not exactly like a square. And I'm gonna be doing this on 32 count over 2 on antique white Lugana fabric. So it's all ready to go, and it's gonna be lots of different threads. Some of them gonna be with one strand, some of them gonna be with 2 strands, so there's gonna be some variation done. But of course I'm not gonna be finishing this by this Christmas, maybe not even by next Christmas, but I think that's a whole beauty, that you can enjoy each pattern, each web for longer. Although you want to, I feel like I want to finish all of them because I want to have them done and hanging, but at the same time, then it means I have to say goodbye to it as my stitching, like a companion, because every piece you stitch, you get this, you know, you remember that this event is happening, and or you're watching this floss tuber or listening to this music. So it's a history with every pattern. So those are all my works that strictly Maynia. I also have like at least 4 challenges that I'm doing with the different groups, Lithuanian and English. So one of them, of course, is my giant George Washington crossing Delaware project, and I'm happy to say that right now I have just over 30% done. So I know I'm ahead of my game, ahead of my own plans, but that's the beauty of it, because then if there are period of time that I cannot work on that, I know I'm not gonna be that late in fitting in that 5-year frame that we have to finish it, and I'll have those projects on my end of the month review, so to say. So last month I had to do 6,500 stitches on that, and I barely made it. And if I want to continue, it would be 7,000 stitches in this month. So it means one page is just over 2,400 stitches. So yeah, that's a lot. I don't know if I would be able to make it. It's taken slowly over my life, and I might have to pull out of that challenge, but that's also forcing myself to see how far I can go with those. So I might do a lot of that and not a lot of my Maynia projects, at least in the May. Then another challenge piece I have is my spoiled child that I had a custom charted from uh, 1730s, I think the painting was. And then there's my Heaven and Earth Designs Beloved that I'm doing also is the big size, at least on the fabric. Although I've been watching Tina Stitches, and I think she's doing on a 25 count, so hers is of course smaller in size, but it's so beautiful looking. I'm doing on the 14 count, and you know, then I started to look at mine and then look at hers, and it's like, well, should have just started on a smaller count, you know. I had it original planned on my fireplace wall because I have a 2-story living room, and I wanted, you know, the regular size, even Haed's would look kind of minuscule compared to this tall wall around fireplace. So I thought doing something like this big. But then you have to think about the future, and it's like, where if I move out of this house, which probably eventually is going to happen, or like a kids take it, is there going to be a room to hang this big thing, you know? So I don't know. What do you guys think? If you have any suggestions, I'm almost done with the first row of it, and I don't know. It's hard now to decide because I've done quite a bit, but it's, you know, it's not half done. So I don't know if I should continue like that or just restart on something smaller, and what the heck, I can put more paintings along that tall wall maybe. I don't know. So if you have any advice, put it down below, or if you look at my monthly videos, you can do it there. So that and then of course I'm doing Stitch 9 challenge, so I'd love to have at least a little bit done on 1 or 2 of them to kind of continue working. I've finished several, but not enough. So yeah, I think that's all for my Maynia plans, and have to all pack it up, put away, and do my monthly video, and have lunch and go to school and all kinds of other stuff. So I hope you have a great Maynia start. If you're doing Maynia, or if you're just watching, then happy watching. I hope we all give you great pleasure to follow us on this crazy road. I know I'm not doing first 15 days. I'm kind of stretching out a bit, just in case if one day I can't stitch at all, then at least I get extra day to put in even 10 stitches, right? So I don't know if I'm gonna do daily and then just split half and half the month, like little updates, or like every 2 days or something. So we'll see what goes in my head. So until the next time, I hope you enjoy my choices, and if you have questions about any of them, don't be afraid to ask in the comments below. Until next time, saying goodbye, this is Sergita. At